Frankfurt, Germany is one of those under the radar, underestimated European destinations that's actually full of travel gems. I'm going to share those with you coming up. One of the most amazing museums that I've been to in Germany, and frankly all of Europe, is the German Romantic Museum and the Goethe House. I hope I said that right. Goethe. This place is absolute magic. It is a must visit. Here's why. The Goethe House in Frankfurt is the birthplace and childhood home of Germany's famous writer Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. Located in the city's Old Town, this beautifully restored 18th century townhouse offers a glimpse into Goethe's early life and the environment that inspired his literary career. The house is furnished with period pieces, paintings, and personal artifacts. Check out that clock. That is one big clock. It creates an authentic atmosphere of how the Goethe family might have lived. Visitors can explore the rooms where Goethe lived and wrote, including his study where he began his masterpiece, The Sorrows of Young Werther. If you're anything like me and you love peeking into people's houses, this is a must-see house. I recommend seeing the house first before you check out the Romantic Museum, because it's going to give you an opportunity to learn a lot about Goethe and his family. They weren't part of the nobility, but they were definitely at that demarcation mark between the nobility and kind of like the upper class. They were definitely in the upper class echelon. His grandfather, I think, was mayor of Frankfurt. So they grew up with, this family had some means. And when you're in the house, you clearly begin to realize you're dealing with a rather wealthy, privileged family. They were kind of bohemian in their day. They had a lot of poets and artists come. So young Goethe was constantly surrounded by artists that his father and his mother were bringing in. And of course, they also brought in they were very well connected to the nobility. So you had duchesses or dukes or other types of members of the nobility with titles coming into their lives as well. So this family had incredible access, and they used that access to really promote the arts. And you get an understanding of that when you actually go into the house. You get to see how they lived, all the books they had, all of the art that surrounded their house. The family were huge patrons of local artists. They bought and supported artists, which I think is an important point. I always support local art. But you began to really intimately explore the Goethe family and really have an appreciation for who they were. And then you go into the Romantic Museum and you learn about Romanticism, you learn about how Goethe played a role in that, and it just expands your understanding in a really complimentary and beautiful way. The museum opened in 2021, and it's the first of its kind that's actually dedicated solely to German Romanticism, a movement that blossomed in the late 18th and 19th centuries. It's nestled right next to the Goethe House. This museum offers a deep dive into the art, literature, and philosophy that shaped the German Romantic ideals. German Romanticism was a reaction against the Enlightenment's pure rationalism. And unlike the Enlightenment's focus on reason and logic, Romanticism valued emotion, nature, and the sublime. Think of everything that you love, like drama movies, feelings, songs, with high emotion, ballads. All of that stemmed from the Romantic movement. In Romantic art, nature isn't merely just a backdrop, but it's considered its own force of power and mystique. And the German Romantics viewed it as a pathway to self-discovery and divine experience. But Romanticism wasn't just limited to the visual art. German writers and philosophers and scientists explored human emotion, spirituality, the mystery of life. They delved into myths, folktales, legends as a way of reconnecting to a lot of their medieval cultural roots. What I absolutely loved about the German Romantic Museum is that it invites you to take a step back into this movement and understand how it began, understand and make the connection of its importance. It's tapping into spirit, tapping into nature, tapping into emotion, and how all of that plays a role in our lives today. They did such a superb job of making that connection between then and now. And that's one of the reasons why you should really check this museum out. Simply one of the best that I've been to in all of Europe. So one of the things I definitely recommend about this museum is you should spend a day just seeing this museum. You should bookend this museum experience with light things to do before and after. So the museum, I think, opens at 10. Have a nice breakfast. Take a leisurely stroll in the city center or go see the old medieval Romer area or the cathedral, something like that, something light where you're kind of walking around. Go to the museum, go to the Goethe House. They're connected, and one ticket gets you into both the house and the museum. Spend most of your day there. It is a very heady experience. You will absolutely get lost in the museum. There's a lot to process. There's a lot to think about. So give yourself that oxygen. By the time you're finished, which will probably be around 3 or 4, your head will probably be like, wah, 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 wah. So do something light, right? Go back out, take another walk, get some fresh air, maybe go shopping, do a little retail therapy, go back to the hotel, have a rest, and then go and have a nice dinner. And at dinner, process some of what you saw, and you will have an amazing experience. It's really such a beautiful and incredible museum. I can't say enough good things about it. So that wraps up the Gems of Frankfurt that I have for you. I absolutely love Frankfurt. I feel like it doesn't get enough credit. Whenever we talk about Germany, we always talk about Berlin. We always talk about Munich. We always talk about Cologne, Heidelberg, Düsseldorf, but we never talk about Frankfurt. And I think that needs to change. Everybody thinks Frankfurt is just the financial capital, it's a business capital. It is all business and no play. And it's not true. There are so many beautiful things to do in Frankfurt, and it's a really pretty city. So I do recommend, if you're thinking of going to Germany and you want to add that to your list, do it, because you will find some amazing things to do, including what I recommend. You'll have a good time. All right, safe travels. Mwah! Bye.